Welcome back, guys, to Sharpen Your Sword podcast. Today we are on episode 57, and I'm very excited to have this guest back on. This special guest was on here on my very first podcast, guys. He had a lot of things to do that day, but he still made it a point to come out to the first podcast, and he had a skedaddle. But here we are, 56 episodes later. He is back, and today's episode 57, Strength, Service, and the Modern Man. And this guy, Mr. Josh, has been my friend for over 6 years, and we have some of the wildest conversations.
Coffee shop conversations.
Coffee shop conversations, and I mean, they can go from 0 to 1,000 pretty quick, and it can be very random, but they're very good conversations, honestly. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this guy. Helped me out in mindset and a lot of things. And I wanted to bring him back. We had a coffee shop conversation a couple weeks ago. And I got to have you back on the podcast. And so, welcome, Mr. Josh, to Sharpen Your Sword.
Thank you. Glad to be back. Thank you.
Good to have you. And always, guys, the number one co-host in the world, Giovanni Jimenez. What to do, Gio?
Hey.
You guys ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to let Josh kind of tell us what he does, because I can't say everything. So, Josh, tell us just for a refresher for the viewers, what do you do today?
So my name's Josh. I just recently turned 40, so I'm an old man now. Yeah, old man.
I just turned 30.
Yeah, that's 10 years. Wow, okay. I just recently turned 40. I have got 2 daughters, so I'm a father to 2 young girls. That comes with its own set of difficulties, but my full-time job is I'm a police officer here in the local area, West Tennessee. I've been doing that for 18 years. I also, funnily enough, I'm a volunteer fireman. Yeah, down in Byhaley, Mississippi.
Happy now?
Yeah. I'm down there doing that.
I know last time we talked about it.
Yeah. It's been doing that. I train a lot of our guys on our medical stuff at work, so this is just another avenue for me to get some more experience doing that. So pretty neat. I've been a police officer for 18 years. Love it. Currently in a supervisory role, so I've got about 20 people or so under me, and it's pretty fun. Did a few years in the military. I was in the National Guard, so I was an 11 Bravo infantryman in the National Guard. Fun. Never went anywhere. Exciting. Got to go to Europe one time. That was exciting. Yeah. But other than that, like I said, dad. Raised my mother and father. Still married. I've been through a divorce myself here within the last couple of years. I got to experience that, so that was an interesting experience. But that's kind of who I am in a nutshell.
Okay, so thank you for your service. Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I got a question. A lot of people have been going like volunteer fire. Is there any specific reason for that?
The one thing that police and fire have in common is that they both wish they'd been firemen.
Really?
No, that's a joke. If there's any police officers or firemen listening, they'll get a kick out of that. I don't think so, man. I think it's just an opportunity that it's not around much. Like most agencies up in the well-developed agencies don't have volunteer firemen. I mean, they do, but it's more of like a reserve component that supports the larger. A lot of these smaller agencies, like in North Mississippi and places like that, they don't have the money to staff a fully functioning fire department, and so so they rely on volunteers that'll volunteer their time to come in when there's a fire or a medical call, and they come in and they serve for that period of time they serve as firefighters. So I don't know. I guess to me it's just service. It's just I moved down to where I live now in North Mississippi, and I saw a Facebook post that they needed people real bad, and I just reached out to them, and they were like, yeah, come on. So I think it's just service. People just want to find a way to serve people, and that's what a better way than to dress up like a fireman and help people.
What's crazy is, now that you say that, I guess service is like one of those pillars as a man that is part that. I mean, I don't know if men still have it. I think certain men still have it, but I think not just as men, but as humans, right? Whether you're a believer or not, you're told to serve people, right? And humans get their fulfillment actually from serving people and doing things for people rather than just for themselves. People used to think, I mean, people still think actually, because you see it, right? Entitled, selfish people, is happiness comes from what can I do for myself.
Yeah.
But true happiness actually comes from what can I do for you.
Yeah.
You know, and the more you practice that, the more you realize that you get happier for some reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some of the best experiences I've ever had have been when you're leaving a situation when I've been able to help somebody that, because one of the quotes I like to live by is, if not me, then who, right? And so if I'm not there to help this person, or if I'm not there to protect them in this time where they need it, who else is going to do it? And I know there's other people that are like-minded like me out there. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but like in that moment, that's kind of how I look at it. So
Right.
A lot of the best experience in my life have been when I've been able to help someone else that really, really needed it. Not something minute, but something big, you know, those are very impactful, you know.
And what you said is powerful by saying, like, you're not the only one, right? Because there is other men out there. I say men, not boys, right? Because I think I always say it on the podcast is men think they're men because they have a beard and have testicles, right? And that makes me a man. But I think you have to have the backbone and the character of a man and the actions of a man. And so I think if you surround yourself with the right men, you'll see that most of them are men of service, and they're willing to do something to help somebody.
Yeah.
Do you think this is? Everybody has their own opinion on this. Do you think this is like an official pillar? Like, hey, as a man, this is like your duty.
I would say, yeah. I mean, if you're not as a man, in my opinion, if you're not being of service to other people, then what good are you? You know, if you're just using things, if you're not providing for other people, what are you doing? You're just surviving. You're just consuming. If you're not producing, then what are you doing here?
But what about the mindset of, hey, but what do they have to offer for me?
Yeah, well, it's a very selfish mindset. It's one of the most selfish things you can say is,
why should I serve them if nobody's serving me, right?
And we've actually talked about this once before. I asked you specifically from your perspective, people who serve, right? So service is good. So doing charity is good. We can agree on that. But if someone serves and their intent is the backside accolades they get from the service, is that the same as someone who just serves for the good of being good, right? Because there's a lot of people out there, celebrities, normal people that they serve, you know, and they post Instagram videos of themselves serving. They're doing it for the clicks and the likes, right? I know people in my personal life who do a lot of really good things, but it's clear why they do it. It's not because they're serving. It's because they want the follow-on accolades. Right. So my question would be, what do you think? Is it the same, or is it different?
It's different.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it's different, because I believe, like, as I grew older, like intention, I guess. Intention, there's another word I can't think of, but I talked about on one of the podcasts, like, what's in your heart, the truth in your heart, right? Is why are you doing this? Like, why are you wearing a polo shirt? You know, are you doing it because you want to wear a polo shirt, or are you doing it to try to impress somebody? Everything you do, why are you doing it, right? And so for me, I'm a Muslim, I'm a believer. We talk about charity and we do all this, but they say when you give this stuff, you don't give to show people that you're giving, right? This is supposed to be between you and God. Like, nobody's supposed to see, because your intention should not be to show people, hey, I'm doing good. Yeah. Right? Your intention should be to serve, and your intention should be charity and to help. Not for you to get likes or clicks or pats on the back or look cool, you know? And so I personally believe they're not the same. I think they're completely two different things, and I don't think you're pure about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think it's like the guy that always acts nice, but he's really an asshole. He's faking it. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think you have to be genuine, and you have to be from the heart, serving people, and not just doing it for the population, because then you're just a fake. Yeah. And if you're a fake, there's nothing worse than a fake. Yeah. You know? And this brings up a really good topic of conversation we can talk about today. If you guys have been following the media regarding, we call them like vet influencers, you know, like military guys, influencers. So Tim Kennedy, you been tracking that whole story? So last time when we had the coffee conversation, I went and looked him up. Looked up, and bro, they're chewing him out. Well, I mean, for good reason. He's finally come out and admitted to
to his indiscretions with his storytelling, if you will. But there's a guy that if you take him, because I was a believer of his for a while. Like I read his book, I bought his book, I followed him on Instagram, all the social medias. Like he was that guy. He was big, he was fit, UFC fighter. I don't know if he's ever a champion. He lost, maybe, I can't remember.
He was up there though.
Yeah, he was up there. He was a contender, like a real contender. Jiu-jitsu black belt. Like he was. If you were to try to draw what you would consider a man,
patriot.
He kind of fits that bill, especially for a guy like me, patriotic, all the things. Like he's my guy. And what I started noticing over the years though is that every time he did something, boy, there was more pictures posted on Instagram of him doing it than I've ever seen before. And it kind of started to make me feel kind of icky when I would look at him. Like he went to Afghanistan during the withdrawal, and he was at the withdrawal from Afghanistan. He went over there as a civilian because he's technically he's in the National Guard now, but he's a Special Forces soldier in the National Guard. So National Guard does have an SF unit; they're a component, and so he's a National Guard Special Forces soldier. So he's still technically in the military, but he went over there as a civilian, and he was posting selfies from the gates where the Afghanistan withdrawal was happening. I remember thinking like, man, I don't know, that just seems odd. Like that just seems kind of strange. If you're going over there to be of service, just go and just help. It just felt weird, and then slowly things started coming out, and that was a kind of a hard pill to swallow because he really did. It's almost like he took the book on masculinity and created himself into what the perfect masculine representation would be, and then it was all fake. And so it's like, man, God, it's all come out now. It's all, everything that they've alleged about him is true.
So what came out?
So he, in his book, his book, I think it was, well, I won't even say the name of it because I don't want to get people to buy it, but he wrote a book. He tells a bunch of stories in there, and one of the stories I remember specifically was, he had a rucksack on, and he made a comment about having 50 grenades in his rucksack, like fragmentation grenades. And fragmentation grenades are heavy, like they're not light. I don't know the weight of it, but it's a pound or two, I think, and they're pretty heavy. 50 of those in a rucksack while you're operational, like going out and doing military, it's silly. He alleges now that he was just saying that in jest, like, oh, I didn't really have 50, I had like 50. I mean, come on, we're talking about nuances now. He made some claims about having, I think it was a Bronze Star with a V device, which is a Bronze Star medal with a V for valor. So you can get a Bronze Star, and then the V comes if it's because of an act of valor to get the Bronze Star. You get a V device. So he made that allegation that he had that. He's made allegations that he has Purple Hearts, and it has now come out. None of that stuff is in his DD-214, his military record. None of it's in there. And then he finally came out and admitted that it's clear an attorney wrote his letter because he said, in the letter, he said that and I'm going to get it not exactly correct, but he inadvertently misspoke about his military service. So, and that's because now the military uses, I think, I can't remember, one of the special forces, I guess their overall umbrella is now investigating him, or was investigating him for a period of time. So he had to make a statement and come out and say these things. So he made allegations about war crimes, that he was shooting women and kids.
What?
In this book, yeah, like he justified it in the book somehow, but effectively it was a war crime is what he's talking about doing. He said he sat somewhere, and he said, was it him? No, that was a different vet influencer that made some other allegations. But he was talking about shooting people on the ground, making sure they were dead. Just a bunch of weird, that's not what you do. That's not ROE. That's not the rules of engagement in a situation like that. It was just kind of weird. And then it's all fake. And
I've noticed though, in that kind of sphere, like the alpha male sphere, there's a lot of money to be made in there.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking about this, maybe me and you were talking about this the other day. There's a company that you can go to that's run by, is it Bedros? Mm-hmm. So there's a company that's run by him that you pay them $18,000, and they will put you through a 72-hour, it's kind of like BUDS, Navy SEAL training.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be modeled after special forces selection, but and so they'll go in and so there's people paying $18,000.
This podcast just got very good, by the way.
And this class, I was just reading an article about it this morning, as a matter of fact. And this class, there was 10 or 15 people in each one of these classes. $18,000 a pop. Yeah, there's lots of money to be made because I think, to your point, to circle back to your original point, is I think there's a lot of men out there right now. So I'm talking specifically about men at the moment. There's a lot of men out there right now that don't, they've lived a fairly, I wouldn't say easy, we all have our struggles, but a fairly...
Living in America is easy, cuz.
Yeah, well, yeah, right, touche.
It's a comfortable life.
Yeah, a very comfortable life. And now they're, in their 30s or 40s, and they're like, man, I don't have a story, or I haven't experienced difficulty. And so they're willing to pay money to experience manufactured stress.
Yeah.
That's wild. $18,000, I couldn't pay. Boy, if you told me I had to pay $18,000 to go to a class.
Bro, go train jiu-jitsu.
Right. Jiu-jitsu's way less expensive. Yeah, and there's plenty of stress and uncomfortableness in that. And so, but I think that to that point, jiu-jitsu is the game you never master, right? Mm-hmm. Like you never finish jiu-jitsu. After 72 hours, I'm $18,000 more broke. And now I can have a certificate saying I passed this really hard class. By the way, Bedros Skolien, whatever his name is, was never in the military. Yeah. So he's putting on these classes mimicked after SF selection, Navy SEAL, BUDS. He's never been in the military. Yeah. So like, and you're willing to pay him $18,000? I've got a great class you can attend. I'll charge you $17,000. We can really go after it. It's right. Like, hey, but to your point, absolutely, there is a ton of money to be made, and I think the interesting part is why guys are willing to do that. Yeah. Why? Like, is it because we're not out there like running a hoe all the time now in a farm somewhere? Like we're not generating difficulty in our lives.
We're not doing manly things.
No, and so we have to pay someone to come in to pay another man to put me through. Like I went through basic training in infantry school.
And who says he's a man?
Right. Yeah.
Right. To be honest.
I mean, he's big. He's jacked. He
just started jiu-jitsu. He's a white belt, I think. Right. He's a white belt.
Okay.
So he can't fight.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm saying
he's big. He's jacked. He looks the part. He's got tattoos. Right. Yeah. Like he looks
He looks mean. He got a beard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dark hair. Dark eyes.
Great beard. He's a beautiful man. But there's guys out there paying him money to rough him up. Like, man, that's wild. Like it's just a wild. But it's just. I guess at the end of the day, they pay that money, they go through, they get a certificate, they can tout to their friends that they went through this hard thing. But you could also join the military. Like I got paid to go through basic training in infantry school. I didn't have to pay money. I didn't have to pay $18,000 to go. I got paid to be there. It was awesome. So these, I don't know. I don't know why they do it but it's an interesting concept.
So Gio and I had a long talk on this about a month ago probably. And I think about this stuff a lot, honestly. And that's part of why I made Sharpen the Sword is the whole idea of becoming better, right? And I think if you become better, if you pursue betterness, I guess.
Betterness.
If you pursue improvement, and anybody, men or women, but I'm talking about men right now, right? I'm talking about men because I believe it's their duty, not just like, hey, maybe we do it. No, it's your duty as a man to be strong and to lead and to serve and do all these things and to provide and protect and maintain your family, right? That's not the woman's job. The roles have reversed these days. But that's why I made Sharpen your Sword is if you can sharpen your sword, doing something for your mind. Because a man without a healthy mind is not a man. A man without a healthy body is not a man, if you ask me. Yeah. Okay? So you need these things to help you become the better version of you. To become a man. And so that's why the whole Sharpen your Sword, I'm so obsessed with Sharpen your Sword and why I preach it to the younger generation is because I'm from Palestine. My parents are from Palestine. I was born here. And I tell people, like you said, well, people, live in I don't want to say easy life. But, bro, if you live in America, you live an easy life. Yeah. Right? I'll give you an example. Like, right now in the Gaza Strip, they're living in tarps, right? And it's like 100 and something degrees in that tarp, in a tent. My AC just went out of my house, and it's 87 degrees, and I'm whining. I can't go to sleep. I'm dripping sweat, and I'm inside the house. Right. I'm not even outside getting eaten up by mosquitoes, right? And I'm like, bro, shut up. I told myself, I was like, bro, you live in America, and you're complaining about some heat. Those people don't even it's not even a choice. They're getting cooked literally in a black tent, okay? And so I'm like, bro, you got it easy. Now, some people are like, well, that's extreme. No, it's not extreme. We live in America. You have a good life. You have freedom. Most of us have shelter, food, and all that. You live an easy life. People don't want to say it. I'm going to say it, okay? And so I think what happened is, what is the famous saying is, hard men make easy times make weak men.
Weak men make hard times.
Weak men make hard times, right? And so we are in the stage of weak men in hard times. That's where we are as a society, as a country, is weak men in hard times. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is struggling mentally. Bro, the amount of people that struggle mentally is unbelievable. And so I'm not going to say you're weak because you're struggling mentally, but I think weakness has something to do with it because we weren't aware. We didn't build our mind. We weren't in the farm, you know, tilling and planning and working with our hands and getting all the chemicals in our body going and having a clear mind and not watching social media and living a traditional life and having clear roles. You know, you are a man, and the wife makes her man feel like a man instead of making him feel less of a man, right? And she's a woman, and he's making her feel her feminine energy, what they say, right? And all this stuff. But we don't have that.
Yeah.
And so as men, what do we have? All you have is you wear a button-down shirt, a tie, a suit, whatever it is. You do your hair. You live in an AC house. You go sit at a 9-to-5 job. You come home. You didn't kill anything. Most men can't hunt. Most men can't work out consistently. Most men can't do hard things. Okay? Most men can't lead, and most women are not taking the lead of their men. So if they're not taking the lead of their men, how does he feel? He doesn't feel like a man, right? And so I think it's like a culmination of all of this where men are starting to realize, like, oh shit, am I a man? They're starting to question it. And it's obvious they're starting to question it because they're changing their body parts. You know what I'm saying? And so that's you. But people are starting to question. Men are starting to question, like, am I truly a man? I can't fight. I'm not strong. I'm not mentally healthy. I'm not mentally strong. When some shit hits the fan, I freak out or I lose my stuff. And so what Gio and I talked about was going back to the Tim Kennedy thing. I don't like to talk about those guys because they served the military. And I didn't serve the military, so I have a lot of respect for guys. And I feel like it's not my space to talk. I'm gonna give myself, I'm gonna humble my own self and say, hey, those guys were out there. Okay, whether you did the right or wrong thing, I'm not talking about that. But you're in battle, okay, or apparently in battle. But a lot of these guys have come out and they made it a business. Why? Because you look like the American badass that carries the flag. You're patriotic. You're a man. You got muscles. You carry a gun. This is an ideal man. How was it? How was America built? It was built with a farmer with, with the old rifle, right? With the scruffy look. That was a man. He just left his family, went and fought for his country. And so with the wars and technology, we don't really have that no more, right? It's been, I don't know, 20 years maybe since, 20-something years since Afghanistan and Iraq, something like that. But we don't have that no more. So when you see this guy, he's very well put together. He can speak. He has a following. He's built. He can shoot guns, right? And he has all these badass stories. And then you're seeing more and more of these guys. You know? And so they have figured out that this is one of the best businesses. Is one of the best businesses is to teach men how to be men. Now, forget that part, okay? Whether he's a fake or not, Tim Kennedy, well, he's officially a fake, right? This has been proven. But there's other people that are being questioned right now, okay? First of all, I think if you talk the most, you're the biggest fake. That's what I personally believe. If you say, well, I did this, this, and this, and this, I think you're fluffing too much. Like a guy named Shrek. I think he's full of it.
Oh, yeah, McPhee? John McPhee?
I think he's so full of it.
I think even if he's not full of it, his persona is so off-putting.
Bro.
Like, I can't stand to hear him talk. Like, if you've never heard John Shrek McPhee talk, he is the most obnoxious guy I think I've ever heard in conversation. He's just, and the stuff he's talking about doing, I was never in the CIA. You know, I'm not gonna speak to that. Maybe I am. I'm not going to speak to that. But he makes some pretty wild allegations about what he did overseas, and maybe they're true. But if they're not, I'm pretty comfortable that it's going to come out one day that the
truth is always revealed.
Yeah. I bet Tim never thought that it would come out, and so here we are. But yeah, John McPhee, I agree with you. He's obnoxious.
And so you're seeing a lot of these guys doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, it's only a matter of time. Now, some of them are they're badass, right? Some of them. I think there's very few. Me personally. And it made me think, and it still makes me think, how effed up society is. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because we have men making a business of trying to teach men how to be men.
Right.
Just think about it first. Don't even say nothing. Just think about this. We have a group of men trying to teach another group of men how to be men. When in the hell did this happen? Where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
This is where, and I think your generation is fine. I think my generation is probably screwed, honestly, looking at the people my age, especially his age, the 20-year-olds, is in the teenagers, they're effed. If you ask me, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
They are effed if you ask me. And I think the young folks don't understand how big of a problem this is. You can call it toxic masculinity. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I don't care, right? I'm not trying to be, what does it call it, politically correct or please you guys or make it sound good. I'm going to say what I think. How effed up it is that we have a business of trying to create men in this country.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? We don't have men. And what's coming next, the generation and the generation after that, bro, we're screwed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this is an exaggeration, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, like, if you look at grown men, 30 plus, 40 plus, they're like zombies, okay? And at least they had some experience, they had some character building for the last 30, 40 years compared to today when technology has completely taken over, right? And schools have completely went, I don't know which way, but they at least had some time to, I guess, be a man. But it's starting to shift because of the technology and society.
Yeah.
And we can't say certain things no more. And you can't say what it is to be a strong man because otherwise that's toxic. But what about the 15-year-olds and the 20-year-olds and the 25-year-olds?
Yeah.
That all have they seen the last 20, 25 years was this phone, this screen.
Yeah.
They have not interacted with people. They didn't go and play and get cut up and bust their head and get stitches. And I can't even count how many stitches, amount of stitches I've gotten, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see that no more.
Well, they've never been punched in the face either.
They haven't been punched in the mouth,
You know, it's
right?
Yeah, I think you can. I guess what I'll say is, I've thought much the same way, but then I'll try to go back to the generation, several generations ago, when like the free love movement came up during the '60s. What did the generation prior to them think? Because they had, that was a very traditional time back in the day. Back in the, I guess, I don't know what generation that would be, but so you had like the flower children of the '60s during Vietnam. What did their generation above them think about them? Did they say the same stuff we're saying about the generation below us, right, or below me? With 40, you're in your 30s, you're in your 20s. Yep. So we got a wide spread here. That's pretty good. So what did the generations? What did they say about those flower children? Is it the same stuff we're saying today? I would almost say that I think this is what's old is new again. I think we're just recycling the same thing. We're talking about the generation coming underneath us, and I think they have their own struggles. Like they're having to figure this out. I think at a later age. Like boys nowadays, to your point, I don't think they get the experience of going out and getting dirty and getting punched in the face. And so as they get older, maybe they have to experience that when they're older, and it's probably more difficult for them because they're not getting it younger. But from seeing, I know military recruiting is way down. That's to me that's kind of a telltale sign sometimes of generations. I mean, it's not always super high. Usually after a big event it gets high, but I know it hasn't been super high as of the last couple of years. So that kind of tells me some things. But I wonder. I know that when it comes to police and fire service, we had a pretty significant dip in applicants for the last few years, but we've seen that kind of turn around. We've seen a lot more applicants come into the police service, the fire service, here within the last year, because that's all I did for 2 years. That's all I did was hiring at the police department. So we did see it was a pretty abysmal at one point. Probably to what you're talking about, like people don't want to serve, and now I'm starting to see that pendulum swing a little bit. So I don't know where we're at right now. I'm trying not to be too pessimistic or too negative about the next generation because my daughters are in that generation, or they're a generation below that. So I'm hoping that there's still people that are strong in it. And then if you have children, I mean, making them, trying to create them into what you want the next generation to be. With daughters it's different. I'm obviously a man, so I'm not super good at at understanding how to raise daughters. It's kind of you learn day by day, but I guess just helping to create the next generation yourself. Through jiu-jitsu, through the program at the gym, the kids class. I mean, you teach them in that everything that it means to be a man, right? Like service and all that stuff. And I think that one of the things you do in the gym that's good when it comes to the kids is like you clearly delineate boys and girls and who rolls with who, like during kids class. Like it's not, and I think that's good. I think some people might get offended by that, but the reality of it is there is a difference. Like there's a difference between me. I'm a 215 pound guy versus a 215 pound woman. Like there's just a difference, and that's okay. I think that's where we got lost. Is it's okay that there's like physical differences. It's not good or bad. There just is, right? I can't do some things that women can do, beautiful things that women can do. Bear children. I can't do that, and the same is true with them. They can't do things I can do. You know what I mean? So I think you are helping that next generation with the kids jiu-jitsu class because you're teaching them that that's okay. Like it's okay that there's roles. I don't know if roles is the right word, but there's like, there's just roles. And I think we've lost that. Some people want them to be the same. Like they want everything to be the same, like equality. And I'm all for I'm for equality of opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunity to get what they want, but it's not equal outcome. Like I'm not for equal outcomes for everybody because not everybody deserves, if you work really hard to get where you're at, should this guy over here who hasn't worked hard get the same thing you got? No, that's not fair. You know what I mean? So, by the way, it's really hot in here. If you guys haven't noticed, if I start glistening sweat, it's like I'm in a jiu-jitsu class. We failed to pay the AC bill. No, I'm kidding.
You got hot when we had a sexy man walk in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then I walked in, and then Mo walked in, and then here we are.
Funny. But one thing I noticed, like a lot of people in the military, when they asked them, like, and today there's like the Gen Z, my generation. A lot of them, I thought, man, it's kind of fucked up. They were doing it at their own benefit. Now, obviously, you gotta look out for yourself, right? But nobody was in there was doing it for like a patriotic reason. It was like, I'm trying to get a free education.
Sure, yeah.
Or I'm trying to buy a house with 0 down payment.
Yeah.
Things like that, right? Things that are selfish, not necessarily to serve. So, do you feel like the uptake in firefighters, police officers, think that's like, is those people that want to serve, or do you think it's they're doing it for career-wise, more like I'm just trying to get a stable job?
Yeah. Honestly, we've had I think in those two services, there's a pretty wide spread of applications that are coming through. I mean, we've got people who have been police officers and firefighters other places, try to come to the different departments, move around, and we've had people that are brand new, like graduated high school, got some college and then came up. So. I will say to your point about the college, I remember clearly people pre 9/11 that were in the military, that when 9/11 happened and deployments started rolling out, they said, wait a minute, I joined for the college. I didn't join to fight for the country. I joined for college. So I think it shows us again, so what your generation experienced, what you're hearing from your generation is the same thing that the generation pre 9/11 was saying, is that we joined for college, not for. Now, the uptick in recruiting post 9/11, 9/12, there was recruiting stations, you couldn't get into them. They were slam full. Those people were the ones that, we were attacked, the country was attacked, and they were the hard chargers. They didn't care about the benefits. They were going in because we were attacked, and they wanted to avenge that. So it's just interesting that what's old, what was pre 9/11 is the same thing we're hearing now. So it's almost like we're kind of recycling the same stuff over and over again.
So back to the original question you asked, even though that person did it for college reasons, right, and they're probably doing it, is it still the same? Would you consider the same service, the same honor?
I guess my
Nope.
Yeah. I guess my follow-up question would be when it's nut cutting time, when something happens and they said, hey, get on this bird, you're going to go overseas and do what we need to do to protect the country. I guess that's the decision point for me. Are they willing to do that? Or, because we had people refuse. I say we, that's a very broad term.
Refuse?
There's the UCMJs, not Universal. Oh God, I just blanked out on the Uniform Code of Military Justice. You can go AWOL. We had a guy in my basic training class go AWOL, absent without leave. He fled one night during at night. He just fled. It was funny. Side note. So I was on fire guard that night, which is every hour there's got to be someone awake walking around the barracks to make sure it's an old tradition to make sure there's no fire that breaks out and kills everybody in the barracks. They call it fire watch, fire guard. They still do it today. I guess it's anyway. So I was walking around during fire guard, and this one guy who was kind of a strange cat, right? He just kind of a weird dude. I walked by him at one point, and he was in his full like camouflage uniform, and he was painting his boots with a Sharpie. The boots were tan at the time. He's painting them with a Sharpie, and I was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh man, I'm just bored. I'm trying to calm down." I was like, "It's 3 a.m. You're painting your boots with Sharpie?" "Yep." "Cool." And so I kept on, and I walked back around. He was gone, and I was like, "Uh-oh." You know, I was like, now I was older when I went through basic. I was 26, so like I wasn't a kid. I was a little. I had a daughter. Well, my daughter was born 6 months before I went to basic training, but I was like, okay, so I'm a little older, so I'm not a 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid like I was in there with. So I was like, okay, what do I do? Well, there's drill sergeants that are assigned to your barracks, but they're like, you don't talk to the drill sergeant. You don't go to them for anything. But I've got a missing soldier now. So I ran down and I banged on the door, stood at parade rest. NCO drill sergeant opens the door, and I say what I say. You know, drill sergeant so and so, we have one missing. He's in there playing like NBA 2K5 or something. Like just he's hating life too because he's having to stay awake with all these recruits. Anyway, so we went out, we ran and ended up finding him. I don't know what made me start telling that story. I don't remember where we were going now. You were asking about
if it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same honor, like when you do it
yeah,
for college.
yeah. So people that'll run away when it's time to actually do it. Like I don't know, because I think some people will do things. I mean, because there's police officers like this too. They'll sign up for the job and then something bad will happen and they'll quit. Like they'll experience something violent or they'll experience something that's, you know, because I mean, think about it. You don't call the police when you're having a good day. Like it's always something bad, right? So they'll experience something and they'll be like, wait a minute, this isn't for me. I think the same thing can be true probably for people in the military. They join for either college or maybe, you know, patriotic reasons, and then they're confronted with, hey, it's time to pay for that. And I think some of them they'll back down or they'll bow out. Because I mean, you can't really quit, but you can flee. Like you can go AWOL, you know, deserters they call them.
Yeah, you know, I want to come back around to the what you call it. We were talking about like Bedros cooling right, how which 18K for 3 days is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like obviously there's a big market for that. Like
yeah.
the people like they talk trash about OnlyFans, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like the men that talk about it, like it's the men themselves that keep it alive, keep it alive.
Yeah, turns out.
So it's like the same idea. It's the men. There's so much demand. That's the only reason why it can live.
Yeah.
But like, why do you think caused? Because we know there's a lot of weak men now, right? Because obviously, why do you need validation to be a man?
Yeah.
Why do you have to pay 18K?
Yeah.
So what do you think, like things that caused us to get to this point, that influenced the society?
Oh man, that's a good question. God, I think that's probably a pretty multifaceted question right there. I think it probably started. I would say maybe it started with soft parenting. You know, when we were told that you couldn't hit your kids anymore, this idea of
child abuse.
Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I don't hit my daughters, just so we're clear. But you know, I think like I remember as a kid, I was terrified of my father. Now my father raised his hand to me twice my entire life. I was terrified of my dad. For no real reason, like other than he ran the house, right? Like he did what he did. He wasn't abusive. He didn't do any of that. But like I knew that my dad was the top dog in that house, and so I operated as a child with that understanding, like that dad is dad. And if my mom said, "Hey, I'm gonna call your dad," because we didn't have cell phones back then. When your dad gets home, or if I call his office, or when your dad gets home, I'm gonna tell him what you did. I was like, that's a wrap for me. Like I'm done. I'll be under the house by the end of the night, you know? And like I said, he only raised his hand to me twice. So he didn't beat me. Like I wasn't a beaten child, but I just had this understanding that he was in charge and that there were consequences if I didn't follow those. So I would almost say, just kind of shooting from the hip here, like that was when that stopped being true. Like when there wasn't roles in the home, I think maybe that's when it started. Maybe, I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's got to be, you have to, I mean, because you're preparing children for society. So if I don't prepare my kids to know that you have to go to work and listen to someone who is above you, if I don't do that at home first, what are we training them to do? They go out here and they become these people who, you know, set cars on fire in Los Angeles because they think they can just do whatever they want. So maybe that is when it started, is when we started this soft parenting idea. Now, obviously, child abuse is bad. I mean, I've seen some horrible cases of child abuse. That's not what I'm talking about. I think there's a limit to how you do it, but there has to be, I think, a hierarchy in the house. Yeah, there's got to be discipline. Without discipline, there's nothing. Like, motivation only goes so far. Discipline comes after it, right? So
character building.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, and like I said, you don't have to be violent to have discipline. My dad, like I said, hit me twice, spanked me twice, for stuff I deserved it for. Like nothing I would say, man, that was terrible. Like I deserved it, you know? So I don't think you have to be violent to have that discipline, but there is no question who is in charge here. And I think some kids, because we want to be our kids' friends, maybe sometimes, you know, that hierarchy has been dissolved a little bit. And so kids don't know what to do. And so now they feel like they can go out and do whatever they want. You know, I don't want to go to school today. Okay. And there's parents that don't make them go to school. I personally have heard stories from people who their kids woke up and they just don't want to go to school that day. Elementary school kids. And they don't make them go to school.
That's crazy.
What planet are we on?
Bro. You
better get out of that, you know, like I'm going to flip this bed over.
You don't get choked.
You know, and it's not because you want to be, like, not to be violent, but I've told my daughters in the past, I'm preparing you to be an adult. I'm preparing you to go into society. If I pretend like it's okay for you to not listen to someone who is above you, whether it's a boss or something like that, or even like a police officer, if I train you that it's okay not to listen to me, I'm telling you it's okay not to listen to other people. And you're not going to succeed in life if you don't know that there is a hierarchy in how these things work.
Right.
You know, and that's to your point about young boys. Like, young boys have to know that there's a hierarchy and there's a way things are done. You know, like Lord of the Flies, right? Like someone's going to take charge. And so, yeah, that's kind of, I would, you know, without sitting here and really researching it, that's what I see as one of the biggest problems. And now I'm sure we could find arguments against that, right? There's people who were beaten as a child and had really strict discipline that go out and just go wild. So, but that's kind of my take on it. Soft parenting has probably been a part of that.
I agree, because I see it in the academy all the time. It's like, I tell parents like, well, I know this is good for my child. They want to get him to jiu-jitsu, want to get him into kickboxing. And like, I know this is good for my child. I'm like, okay, I know it's good for your child because I see it, and I'm telling you it's good for it, and you know that it's good for it. You're like, yeah, but my child doesn't want to do it. You know, but it was like, okay, now what's the reason though? Yeah. Is it because they have other interests or because they just want to stay home? Yeah. And a lot of times they want to stay at home. Yeah. And they're like, well, I'm like, so you're gonna let him make that decision? So if pretty much, I tell them, like, if you let them make a decision what they're gonna eat for dinner, right, they're not gonna eat good stuff. Right. But you're gonna let them make that decision for themselves. Like, you have to make that decision. And I see a lot of like parents that they won't do that decision for the kids because they want to give them like quote unquote independence, which I understand. But for certain things to make them better, it's even if they don't like it or even though they don't see the value at the beginning, you still have to do it for them. Yeah. And there's so many parents that they didn't do it because the kid said that he didn't want to. Yeah. And I'm sure the kid is at home, like Coach Mo says, eating potato chips right on the couch.
Playing Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. I you know, as a parent, I've run into that a couple of times where my kids are doing something or they're in a program or a sport because they've tried every sport out there, right? And they'll come to me and say, hey, I don't really want to do this anymore. And that generates a conversation. To your point about, are there other interests or is it you just want to sit at home? Because as a parent, it's for me, and I would assume other parents too, it's a hard road because you want to teach your kids that you can't just quit stuff. You can't just quit. Like one of my daughters was in soccer and she wanted to quit. I'm like, no, you're going to finish out the season and then you can, because you've decided you're going to do this. So it's hard as a parent, I think, sometimes to want to instill discipline and the not quit. And also allowing your children, you don't want to force them to do stuff they don't want to do. Like that, I mean, I know there's some cultures that do, like they force, if you don't want to play violin, guess what you're doing? You're playing that violin every day, and what does that do? Is that good for the kid? Is that bad for the kid? You add 20 years to their life and was that a good thing for them? My data set of one person is that's not that good because they didn't want to do it. And now they almost don't feel like they're important enough to make their own decisions.
But do you think they know better?
The parents? The kids. Which ones?
Like, hey, by saying, I don't want to do this. They don't know better.
Oh, no, I mean, what motivates a kid? Like, kids want to do what they want to do. They either want to sit at home, play on their phones, or they want to go play with their friends or talk to their friends. I mean, you let a kid, like your point, Gio, if you let your kids make the decisions, they're going to do kid stuff. Right. They don't make good decisions. That's why we don't let, It's why we don't let kids join the military, get tattoos. That's why we shouldn't let them pick their genders, because their brains aren't formed. They're not formed enough yet to make that decision, right? So, yeah, if you let a kid make decisions for themselves, and that's the role of a parent. Like, as a father or a parent, like, you are the grown-up. So you're 40 years old. I've got 40 years of experience as a human. I will guide you through this age that you're in now with my knowledge and my experience as an adult. That's my job. Mm-hmm. I don't just say do what you want, because I went to high school with kids whose parents were like that. Oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can stay up as late as you want. You can go wake up as late as you want. You can drink. You can do drugs. And I can tell you where every single one of those kids is now. Most of them are not. I say most. That's not true. Several of them are no longer alive. Overdosed on narcotics or whatever. Yeah. So I don't think that's a good avenue either. We had the parents that would say, well, you can drink at my house because at least I know where you're drinking. How about you just know you can't drink, and I will lock your life down if I think that's what's happening. That's a parent.
Right.
That's not a friend. That's a parent. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No, that's powerful. I agree. I think parents are too soft on the kids.
Yeah.
I think society's already soft on them.
Yeah.
And society's not challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'll tell you what. I think that a lot of people growing up, they don't have a challenging life. Mm-hmm. And then when they go into society, and you see that it's a dog-eat-dog world, mm-hmm. and that nothing's getting handed to you, people struggle.
Yeah. That's why jiu-jitsu is so good for kids, because like I always told my daughters, like when they were training, the first time someone grabs you won't be the first time someone's grabbed you, right? If you're out at school and some bully grabs you, this isn't the first time you've been grabbed. You've been grabbed 1,000 times at the gym, right? That's why it's so important. That experience is important. If you don't have that experience, when you run into dog eat dog, you're not going to know what to do. Whether that's violence or whether that's the corporate world, like where people will backstab you. If you've never experienced any discipline in your life or a parenting or hierarchy, you're not like I said, you're gonna be upset with a decision that's made in the country, and you're gonna go burn down cities. And that's not the answer. Like, you can disagree with things, but I think that, to a further point, teaching kids how to properly disagree with people. Like, if we disagree, we can disagree and then continue talking. That's okay. Mm-hmm. If you don't support this president or the past president, that's okay. We can still be friends. I'm not going to go burn a city down because I'm upset that my president wasn't chosen or was chosen. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But kids, I don't think kids aren't taught that nowadays. They're not taught they're not taught no. They're not told what no. They're not taught how to accept no, and they're not experiencing it. Like, no is a foreign term for a lot of kids. They're not used to hearing that. No, what does that mean? Like, when I was a kid, if a police officer told me to do something, which I never interacted with the police as a kid, but I never got in trouble, that I'm going to admit. If I dealt with the police, I'm kidding. If I dealt with the police, like, I was terrified of the cops. They're scared me to death for no reason. Like, there wasn't any violence against dorky white kids like me. I had no reason to be scared of them, but they were the law. Like, they were in charge, and I respected that. So if they told me to do something, I would do it. And there's people now that, no matter the color, race, age, sex, gender, whatever, if a police officer asks or tells them to do something, won't do it, which boggles my mind. Mm-hmm. It's like, if it's a lawful order, like, what? But they're taught that that's okay. And then I think follow on to that the world has said that that's okay. You can do that. You can say no, or you can not listen to someone. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm off on a tangent again.
Oh, that's all good stuff. Now, I know you said it earlier, but it's like life repeats itself pretty much, and the generation before us said the same thing about the next generation.
Yeah.
And we're all probably saying the same thing each generation. Mm. But I think if you look at it, man, it's not the same.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it, I think we're in a very bad situation. Mm-hmm. I'm not even trying to be pessimistic, but because if you look back 30, 40 years, they didn't have iPhones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And social media, right? Like, the parents are not even paying attention to the kids these days. Mm-hmm. Like, if they take them to a basketball game, they didn't even watch the basketball game.
Right.
Well, I got to be at the basketball game to support my child, and they're not even present.
For real.
They're on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that's a problem, which is, I believe, it's a culmination of what you said. I think it's society. Mm-hmm. Society and whoever they are.
Yeah.
Gio and I always talk about who they are,
who
right?
they is, yeah.
whoever they are, and they blended too many things, making everything seem normal and everything seem fine, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you can be a cat. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, you can.
Yeah.
If you said that 40 years ago, you'll get smacked.
If not worse.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just that simple.
Yeah.
But now these things, everything has been normalized, and I think it's been so normalized that the roles have kind of lost their power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's normal for a man to do what women do, and it's not looking at them as less, right? And it's normal for a woman to do what a man does, okay? But I believe from the second we've been put on this earth, each one had their roles, right? Like in our religion, we talk about men and women, and some people will say, well, you know, sometimes, especially in Islam, right? They say, well, women don't have freedom in Islam, right? Or the man is too controlling or too toxic, whatever. But actually, there's a list of roles each one plays, okay? Both of them have the exact same number. They're equal, right? We say the woman come from the rib. Yeah. She come from the side. She didn't come from down below. She didn't come above. She's not above you. She's not below you. She's next to you. That's what we believe, right? Yeah. People don't understand that. I'm only saying that because I know what the kind of the propaganda is in Islam. But what I'm getting to is, if you compile the responsibilities and role of the woman in our religion and compiled it for the man, they're the same amount. Now each one is different, right? The mom's nurturing and whatnot. The man has one more on top of the woman, just one more. And this role is to protect, to maintain the family, and to lead the family. That's it, right? And so I think we've lost these roles. Yeah. They've been just they're not wiped away, but for the most part, they've been wiped away. Yeah. You know, and so it's like, hey, she can do what you do, and you can do what she does, which is not true. Right. Even if you want to bring science into science into this, it's not true. Right. Right. If you want to bring in physical capabilities, it's not true. Right. And so I think because of this, right, we're on a very quick decline, the trend, right? And I think the younger generation doesn't understand this. The younger boys don't understand this, because if something as simple as buy a coffee for a girl that you're taking out on a date, that's not, she can buy the coffee. Sure. Or they buy separate coffees. Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? Or she buys the coffee. Yeah. Which we can go down another rabbit hole on that, right? But, or, you know, simple as like walking on that side of the street. Yeah. Right? But I don't know if people pay attention to that no more. Yeah.
I know. What's funny about what you're saying is, I think women notice that. They don't, I'm trying to think how to word it properly. Even women, I think, I'll say my experience, I won't say all women. My experience has been, even women I know that would maybe fall more in the, feminist isn't the right word, but very big on women being independent, right? Even they notice when men walk on the street side of the sidewalk and have the woman stand towards the buildings, if you will, right? And my daughter's even asking me why I do that. And it's, well, because if a car comes careening off the road, at least I'll be here. And then they hit me with but how are you going to stop a car? And I'm like, we're not going that far.
It's the principle.
It's the principle. I can push you out of the way. But yeah, so I think even they notice it, right? And so I've interacted with some people in my life and that were pretty staunch. Like I said, feminist isn't the right word, I don't think, but they're pretty staunch in that camp. Like, no, it's wrong for a man to open the door. It's wrong. It's belittling. When they experience it, though, when they experience like a real man who does it for the right reasons, because there's bad men out there who will pretend and then they use it and they capitalize on it and they'll take advantage, right? But when they interact with what I consider a real man who does it for the right reasons, then they're like, wait a minute, if that's what it is, oh, okay, well, you know, and then sometimes they they stutter first. They just slow down for a second. They think, wait, maybe it's not bad. Toxic masculinity is one of the worst things that's ever happened to this world. The idea that masculinity is toxic.
I believe that was an agenda, by the way.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened. I mean, you can boil it down to this: toxic masculinity is toxic until a glass breaks in your kitchen and it's 2 a.m, and then all of a sudden I'm not toxic masculine. I'm just masculine. And what happened to the beauty in that? Like you were saying about women can do. They're equal to us. 100% agree. They're 100% equal. When did we lose the beauty of that? Like that's beautiful. What women can do is beautiful. It is amazing. It is godly. It's whatever, right? It is amazing. Why did that become? At what point did it shift to where that's bad? Like I don't think that. I don't know who thinks that the set of things that women can do, if you will, is. I mean, what caused that? Why do we say that it's bad that they can do different stuff that we can?
Right.
And when did it become bad that I can do different stuff than they can? Right. Like I agree. To me, it was an agenda. I would agree with you on that point is because once you start breaking down the masculine men in the world, you look at it every day. You see guys walking around grossly out of shape, can't fight, can't shoot. They couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. Mm-hmm. And then you see women that are married to them or dating them. And it's like, I wonder what she thinks. If you could get her to talk about that place in her head she doesn't talk about at parties, like, what does she think about it? Does she feel comfortable? Because I know women in my life who I'm friends with that have men that are, maybe not the most in shape or not whatever, and they'll tell you. They'll make jokes about.
I was about to say that.
They'll make jokes about it in front of other people about, if we get into a fight. I had a guy tell me one time, if something were to happen, the world were to end, he would come to my house. And I was like, bro, you better. All right, you can come to my house if you want to, but my job is this family that where I'm protected. I don't care about. You're a grown man. Yeah. You better. The things that I may have that he wanted to come over for, you better get your own because you're going to protect that family. So yeah, when did it lose the beauty? It's what women can do is beautiful. Then they're nurturing they can do creating a child, the ability to grow a child in you, that's beautiful. When did that become bad? Why is that bad? Why is it bad that men, their bones are more dense, they have more muscle? Why is that bad? Because what we have to do, what we have to do at 3:00 in the morning when something bad happens, we need that, right? And I can't imagine a time where I would allow any woman, my girlfriend, wife, whatever, no matter who, any woman, period, go into a dangerous situation when I'm there. That's ridiculous because they're not built for it, and that's okay. That's okay. They're not built for
something else.
Yeah, that's okay. They're built for something else that's equally as important. Because just like if men weren't built for combat, if you will, if they weren't built for that, society wouldn't exist. If women weren't built for what they're built for, society wouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's equal, and that's how it's supposed to be. It's not bad that it's different. That's okay. And I think society allowing people to do whatever they want has led us to what you joked about earlier, gender reassignment and stuff like that. It's and then to let college athletes compete in other genders because of their identity, we went off the rails pretty hardcore there for a while. Not even a political statement, just as a society, we went way off the rails because there were studies done. Once you go through puberty, your bone density and your musculature is set. You can go on estrogen, you can go on testosterone. It doesn't really change anything. It's set. So those people that are competing in women's sports as a biological male, they have a significant leg up in that competition. There was was it MMA or boxing that he was a male, but he competed against women and he hurt people. Mm-hmm. And there was a woman, I think from China, that was I'm not doing this. She took one punch. She's I'm done. I'm not fighting. I'm fighting a man. He was a man and he was fighting in women's sports. That's, as a father of daughters, no, you're not going to compete with my daughters competed in jiu-jitsu and there was boys, but that's pre-puberty. Mm-hmm. It's way more equal of a scale there. Mm-hmm. Post-puberty, you can't do that.
100%.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, I hate to say, we're kind of wrapping up because for some reason the podcast always comes fast with you.
Oh, it does. Look at that.
It's already an hour.
We can do part 2. That's okay.
We're gonna do a part 2. It's always a good conversation, but I have a couple things to wrap up with. What do you think is an underrated trait of a good man?
An underrated trait of a good man. I would say a trait, like a physical trait or like an emotional trait?
Anything.
I would say service to others. I mean, like, there's men out there that they'll pass by a woman or a man on the side of the road with a flat tire and not stop. That's crazy. You know, like, I was leaving, I took my daughters to South Haven to go to a reptile show, and there was a woman outside with her hood up. And I stopped and I jumped her car off. No big deal. It took me 5 minutes, right? But my daughters in the back seat were like blown away that I would stop and help this woman. Like, that's what you do. Like, this woman effectively is on the side of the road by herself. Now I'm a man, so I'm nervous approaching her, right? So like I was like, hey, from a distance, hey, do you need any help? And then she allowed me, she's like, yes, I do. And she allowed me to come to her, right? Because you do want to do it appropriately,
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. There are predators out there.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I do understand, but it's also kind of sad.
And I think as a good man, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
Like, you understand that there are bad people. Like, at me, I know there's bad men. So I go way out of my way to make people comfortable, when I pull over to help someone, like from a distance, I'm like, hey, do you need any help? And, but my daughters were so blown away that I would stop and do that. But it took me 5 minutes. So I think that is probably the most the willingness to stop and help people, not necessarily on the side of the road, right? But like the ability to look at something like, I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to pull over and check and see if they need help. Or I'm, if I see something happening, I'm going to do whatever I can do to stop it. The shooting in Aurora, Colorado, where the active shooter went into the movie theater, Batman, there was people in there. There was grown men in there, right? And we're in a movie theater. He's got a gas mask on, the bad guy does. There's grown men on the front row. Like, I've worn a gas mask. You can't see a whole lot. And then he also set off smoke grenades, right? So like, we can't see real well. He can't see real well. He's wearing a gas mask. How hard would it be to close the distance with him, make physical contact with him, and stop him from doing what he was doing? But as bad as this is to say, nobody did. Like, not one man in there. Now, there was men who covered up women and covered up people and saved lives, no doubt, and sacrificed themselves. So there was service there. But the people who were closest didn't do anything about it. And what good are you? Like, what good is a man that doesn't use the traits that he was given by God or whoever to try to stop something bad from happening? Like, so I would say the willingness to serve others, or maybe even the willingness to sacrifice yourself for somebody else, like, that's unheard of nowadays. You know what I mean? It's scary stuff. People won't do that.
Powerful, man. So we started on service and ended on service again. So guys, you heard the man. Episode 57 with Josh. Always a good time. Always good things that we speak about, we talk on. Strength and service of the modern man, episode 57. Service is one of the biggest things, guys. And like always, sharpen your sword. I truly believe if you can do this on a daily basis, it doesn't have to be hours, okay? Just 20, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is that you can. But if you make it a point to sharpen your two swords, one is the mind, one is the body, okay? If you can do this every single day, you will become a better man. You will become a stronger man, okay? You will become a better woman, a stronger woman, okay? It's personal development. We can never go wrong with working on ourselves and trying to make ourselves better, okay? Just like we always say, sharpen your sword so you can be better for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your country, okay? So it's going to help not just yourself, but everything around you and where you are at. Okay, and that's something that we need to, as a whole, work on together. Okay, is how do we become better? So, Mr. Josh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, Gio.
Gio.
Appreciate you. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Sharpen the Sword podcast. Like always, sharpen the sword. This way you can be better for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for your country. Peace out.